Throughout history, there have been people who have committed some of the most heinous crimes fathomable. For those crimes, they have been convicted and sentenced to death. Welcome to Death Row Executions, where we take a look into the lives of society's worst offenders. And now, your host, Air.
Before I begin, I would like to give a huge shout out to Neva Kelly. She was the very first and second purchase on my website, deathrowexecutions.net. Thank you so much, Neva, for your support. Stephen T. Smith was born on February 9th, 1967 in Ohio. His mother, Jane, and biological father, William Hott, did not have a good relationship, and once their relationship ended, William lost all contact with his son, Stephen. Stephen was the second out of 4 children, and in court documents, it has been reported that he had a shattered childhood. After failed relationships and ending things with William, Jane met and married another man by the name of Cale. Stephen would later go on to say that Cale was a decent guy, but in actuality he was a man who frequently used drugs, drank, and did not treat his mother with any respect. Jane said that although home life was tough for him, Stephen was a good boy who loved school, loved work, and got along well with everyone. Stephen's first cousin, Judy Rigsby, said that his mother's first husband, Cale, the man that Stephen called Dad, was a nice man, but he would assault not only Jane, but Stephen as well. She also said that Stephen only did average in school, and it was not like how his mother expressed. She also claimed that Stephen's grandmother was his primary caretaker. Karen Samples, Stephen's sister, said that growing up, Stephen did not receive a lot of attention. He was a good boy, though, and was never known to hurt others. She claimed that his only problem was drinking. In 1984, Stephen left home to live and work on a farm, and this is when he developed a drinking problem. He was a late bloomer when it came to driving and received his license when he was about 18 years old. With his new bad drinking habit, he got behind the wheel after drinking and got convicted of drunk driving. In 1998, Cale passed away, and that same year, in April of 1998, Stephen met a woman named Kesha Fry. The two began dating and eventually became a couple. They weren't together long, but Kesha felt comfortable enough with Stephen to allow him to move into her apartment with her and her young daughters. Ashley was 2 and Autumn was 6 months old. Kesha soon learned how bad Stephen's drinking was, and she was no longer able to handle it. In mid-September 1998, Kesha demanded that Stephen move out because of his heavy drinking. Stephen moved out and respected Kesha's wishes, but when he promised her that he would quit, Kesha let Stephen move back in with her. During this time, Kesha was in need of childcare, and it just so happened that Stephen was fired from his job, so he agreed to watch Autumn and Ashley. On September 28, 1998, Kesha made it home at around 2:30 p.m. and left shortly after with Stephen, Autumn, and Ashley so that she could run errands. After running her errands, they all ate at Burger King, and then they went to visit Brett Samples, one of Stephen's friends. While at Brett's house, Stephen had 3 beers and played pool. After socializing for some time, they all left Brett's house at around 7:30 p.m. Before making it home, Stephen stopped at a gas station to purchase a 12-pack of Busch Ice and drank 1 beer when he got back in the car. They made it home at around 8 o'clock p.m. and Kesha locked her apartment's 2 outer doors. She then changed Autumn's diaper, fed her, and put her in a pink sleeper. At around 10:15 p.m., Stephen took Autumn upstairs and put her to sleep in her crib. At approximately 10:30 p.m., Kesha put Ashley to bed. After the girls were put to bed, Stephen and Kesha went downstairs to watch television, but Stephen did continue to drink his beer. After some time, Stephen and Kesha decided to go upstairs because they were feeling in the mood. The couple had sex together, and although Stephen did not ejaculate, Kesha said that he did not seem upset. After having intercourse, they went back downstairs to watch more television and for Stephen to drink more beer. By 11 o'clock p.m., Kesha was tired and decided that she was going to go upstairs so she could go to sleep. Before entering her room, she went to Ashley's bed, picked her up, and put her in the bed with her. Ashley and Kesha were now in the same bed together asleep, and Autumn was still left in her crib. Stephen decided that he would stay downstairs so that he could continue drinking and watching television. The next morning on September 29, 1998, at around 3:22 a.m., Stephen was standing naked in the bedroom holding Autumn who no longer had her pink sleeper or diaper on. He placed Autumn on the bed next to Kesha, which woke Kesha up. Kesha picked Autumn up and noticed her head fall over her arm. She then placed her hand on Autumn's stomach, and that is when she discovered Autumn was not breathing. Kesha began blaming Stephen for killing Autumn, but it angered Stephen and he threw an alarm clock saying Autumn was not dead. Kesha picked Autumn and Ashley up and ran out of the apartment and went to her neighbors Maya Brooks and Jeff Pierce's apartment. Maya opened the door and was startled by Kesha screaming that Stephen had killed Autumn and was pleading for them to help her. Maya immediately called 911 and paramedics arrived at the scene first. Stephen made his way to Maya's apartment and asked what Kesha was doing and was quoted saying, "I didn't do anything. Why the is she lying?" With that being said, Maya shut the door in Stephen's face. Paramedics noticed Autumn's lifeless body but still administered CPR. They documented injuries on her head and bruising around her eyes. While paramedics were administering CPR, Maya's partner Jeff went outside and noticed that Stephen was throwing a trash bag in a dumpster. Stephen said that he was leaving because he didn't do anything, but Jeff tried to get him to stay. Jeff was convincing, so Stephen agreed to stay until police arrived. Autumn was then transported to the hospital, but she was pronounced dead after an hour of trying to resuscitate her. Upon further examination of her body, physicians noticed that Autumn's genital cavities were bruised and 10 times the size they should have been for someone her age. Back at the crime scene, police searched Kesha's apartment and they noticed that there was no forced entry, but the volume of the television that was left on was abnormally loud. The search resulted in police finding Autumn's pink sleeper under a coffee table, and right next to her clothing was Stephen's jeans. There was white material on the floor, and they ended up finding out that it was shredded pieces of diaper. Jeff let police know that Stephen threw a bag in the dumpster, so police retrieved that bag. Inside of the trash bag was a torn diaper, Stephen's t-shirt, and 10 empty cans of beer. Stephen wasn't charged for anything related to Autumn yet, but he was arrested for public intoxication because he smelled of beer and was swaying back and forth while yelling, "I didn't do it." Stephen was tested at 11 o'clock in the morning and his blood alcohol level was .123. While being questioned, Stephen said that Kesha was the one who woke him up, saying that he killed Autumn. On October 27, 1998, Stephen spoke with police and gave a second statement. This statement was different from the first one, and now he was saying that when he got home that night, they put Autumn to sleep in the baby swing and they put Ashley to sleep on the love seat downstairs. He claimed that he and Kesha had intercourse on the couch downstairs and did not go upstairs to their room. He claimed that he woke up at around 3:25 a.m. and noticed something was wrong with Autumn, so he carried her upstairs to Kesha. He denied putting anything in the dumpster, and he claimed the white material found on the floor was from Ashley rubbing baby wipes on the floor. On November 3, 1998, Stephen signed and verified the second statement. Stephen was eventually indicted on 2 counts of aggravated murder with 2 death penalty qualifications. One of those qualifications was murder during sexual assault or attempted sexual assault. Stephen enlisted some friends to testify on his behalf that swore he was a heavy drinker and had blacked out in the past. A forensic toxologist testified that Stephen had a blood alcohol level of approximately 0.6 the night of the murder, and the defense was that he could have blacked out and could have possibly not known what he was doing or remembered what he did. Stephen had a child of his own, and the mother of that child testified that Stephen was a good father and treated their daughter very well. Sergeant Helen Johnson was a correctional officer who testified that while locked up, Stephen had 2 violations, but aside from the violations, he was a respectful person. At the conclusion of trial, Stephen was found guilty and he was sentenced to death on March 25, 1999. His death warrant was signed for Wednesday, May 1st, 2013. For his last meal, he had a pepperoni pizza, ham, sausage, fried fish, fries, chocolate ice cream, and Mountain Dew. He was able to spend time listening to the Cincinnati Reds game on the radio the night before. When it was time for his lethal injection execution, he was asked if he had any last words, and he replied by saying no. Witnessing the execution was the victim's family. When Stephen was pronounced dead, Kesha's sister pumped her fist in the air and said, "I'm glad he's dead, and I hope he burns in hell." Some of Kesha's family felt that execution was too good for Stephen. Because of him, Autumn never had a chance to take her first step, she never had her first birthday, or a first day of school. It's just unfortunate that this man gets to die a peaceful death after what he put Autumn through. Thank you all for watching another episode of Death Row Executions. Let me know what you think of this story in the comments below.